Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to teach you how to create your own Gaussian splats from your scenes inside Unreal Engine. I'm going to show you how to use both a camera in a level sequence to render out images of your scene, process them and align them in Reality Capture, train them in Lichtfeld Studio, and finally upload to SuperSplat as a 7 MB file. I will also show you a method for spawning multiple cameras and developing a workflow that could be used for 4DGS Gaussian workflows by batch processing the images. Now the first question you might want to ask yourself is why you would want to do this in the first place. Well, the Gaussian Splat provides a great format to share your entire Unreal scene, illuminated and with all material properties, to a wider audience. The Gaussian splats in PlayCanvas SuperSplat, an open source tool, can be trimmed and cropped within the editor and shared easily, and even now include collisions so people can walk through them, navigating areas like real estate easily on a multitude of devices without needing a bulky graphics card, a large executable, or Unreal Engine to view. So let's get started. What I have here is the matrix scene, and I have found through my exploration of this technology that there is a few rules that are better suited. In general, if you can bake your light, I think it works a lot better. In this scene, I've bypassed some of those rules, and I'll show you some of the issues that might arise because of this. I have real-time lights here, and I have certain areas where whenever I zoom in, I have strange artifacts appearing, like the front of these speakers, for example. Again, I have a real-time live source here, and I've probably made a little bit of a mess of these shadows, as there seems to be typical lumen behavior going on and a multitude of shadows underneath the chair. But let's not get too focused on that. I'm sure if you're going to do this technique, you can probably light this scene better and apply the principles of general CG lighting to get a better result. This is not going to be an in-depth tutorial where I'm going to show you every single step, and you're welcome to join my Patreon and get some more information on this or get some assistance on this if you wish to proceed yourself. So basically all I've done here is created a camera rig, and you can connect your camera or child parent your camera to this, and then I've created a cinematic sequence. In my cinematic sequence, I have followed a number of rules. First of all, I've disabled any post-processing, both on the camera and in the scene in general, which I find assists greatly. You could probably apply some color grading or something like that, but things like bloom, lens effects in general, depth of field, chromatic aberration, and lens flares are probably best avoided for this to get a more accurate result. The aim is to get consistency across the images. In my specific example, I have assigned a shutter speed, a high shutter speed. I have removed motion blur, and I've used a 24mm lens here. However, you should be free to use whatever size of lens you want and whatever suits your scene in particular. In this scene I have just gone for a rotation, but if I wanted to go for a walkthrough through a room, I could easily follow a path. I'm trying to fill the image inside the scene as best I can, and for this one 24mm seemed to do the job. I've also set the aperture very high. Next, I draw a spline on my camera rail that roughly covers the whole scene, or roughly covers a circle around it. Again, you can probably be a little better than this. My scene doesn't seem to be exactly in the middle. Back to that sequence, and I'm going to lock the camera in view, and you will see my first pass, which does a 360 across the scene. I've chosen an exceptionally high number of frames for this, which will take longer to render, but the reason for this was I wanted to avoid motion blur, and I'll show you how you can pick out some of those images that you don't want to keep. Next, I'd raise my camera to 120 centimeters and go with another pass across the middle. And finally, the camera is raised to 280 for the final pass around. I have also assigned an actor for my camera to track here. In this case, the skylight, which is a bit odd, but you could just use a sphere or something similar in the middle of your scene. I keyframe my camera to rotate around this rail for the 720 frames. At all times, it's pointing in the middle, and this automatically creates the smooth 360-degree rotation and also the yaw, pitch, and rotation that's required automatically. Incidentally, this is what I'm tracking in my scene. I can click the render option. For my render settings, I have rendered 3840 by 1920, and I've chosen a PNG sequence. One important thing to note is that the higher your resolution, the more VRAM you're going to need in Lichtfeld or PostShot or whatever application you use to train on the photos later. I recommend experimenting this, and it should be known that you will need a graphics card with a hefty amount of VRAM. Once these are rendered out, we can see the chosen frames at the different levels. I've used this simple Python script that ChatGPT wrote for me to filter out and pick every 10th image. I think in the end I might even have altered this to pick every 45 images rather than every 10 images. Once the images are processed, I bring them into Reality Capture for alignment. Here you can see that I have 358 cameras that are aligned. I think they should have been 120 each pass. The first one there is missing. The jury's out on whether you need 120. In my next example, I'll show you this working with a far smaller number of cameras, but on any modern GPU, this shouldn't take long to process at this resolution. Once this is done, you need to export for CoMap format. Now I'm using RealityScan 2.1, and this might have changed from workflows that you might have seen before online. Now there are a few important things that you need to use in your export parameters for CoMap here. I export undistorted images as well, and I've gone with the 24-bit JPEG. Once this is done, I chose to use Lichtfeld Studio. Now PostShot and Lichtfeld, I'm not quite sure which one is better, but PostShot recently became commercial and I wanted to keep this open source. Import is relatively easy. And what I ended up with, which worked for me, was the CoMap export, which consists of a cameras.txt, image.txt, and points3d.txt, and all the images which have been re-exported out of Reality Capture. Mine are coming in at 3532 times 1176. I don't know why, but that's how they come out. And essentially what I do is drag this entire folder in, and if all your stuff has been exported correctly, this should go ahead with the training. Now again, the number of steps you need is going to depend on your scene. But one thing I've noticed is if you overtrain these, particularly from Unreal Engine, it can begin to introduce errors. So I think I limited mine to a couple of thousand steps rather than the whole 35, maybe about 10K for this one. But with later data sets, I only needed about 2 or 3K. And I also find that the point cloud is smaller if you train with less steps. As you can see, this is training just fine, and I'm getting a nice Gaussian splat from my Unreal Engine scene with not a great deal of effort at this point. The lighting is preserved, even with these dodgy triple shadows I have, and the entire scene seems to be covered relatively well. At this point, and for the sake of this video, I'm going to pause, and this will create a checkpoint for me, or I can save a checkpoint and I can export out. Now this will allow me to export both to PLY or directly to the SOG SuperSplat format, which is a lot smaller in size. So I'm going to export both out here. The original PLY is 64 megabytes and the SOG is about 5,000 megabytes. And that is for 2,970 steps. Now for something slightly different and the potential to export 4DGS. Here I have a metahuman, and surrounding it I have an array of cameras which I control via this blueprint. These will shoot in sequence and they will capture all angles of the character. In my blueprint I can choose the radius, the center point, the number of lights I want to spawn, because I spawn 12 light panels as well, the number of cameras, and also various camera angles and an array of actual cameras themselves. These will fire after a delay, render out at a specified resolution, and for the added 4DGS mode, it will actually pause an animation per frame and then capture again. So essentially it's capturing the actress or metahuman as she is animated from all angles with 48 images. Let's see this work. And with the animation applied, each frame of the animation is rendered into another folder. Let's speed this up a bit to see how it works. So as we can see, it works pretty rapidly through all the folders, and I'll go into this in a bit more detail in another video, but I want to show you the reality capture part now. First, to give you an idea of some of those photos. And you can see that the clear black background, as before, is great for masking these images out, and the double pass is sufficient to capture all of our actor. Alignment and co-map export in reality capture are rapid and easy. So for the 4DGS workflow, I actually made a batch file to speed up the process of doing this. And here in all these folders, the co-map and the undistorted images are exported. True Blue Peter style, I am going to now show you the batch file I also wrote with the help of GPT to train Lichtfeld Studio with the co-map data. As this is running in headless mode, you don't really get to see what it's doing, but in fact I can set the number of splats. I can set the number of steps required, the folder import, and the images to be imported. And again, this completes pretty rapidly for the low number of training steps I wanted to use for this demo. More on this in a future video. For now, thank you for watching. I hope that was insightful and a great little workflow if you want to bring your Unreal Engine scenes or your metahumans to life and you want to show them to somebody else without the overhead of the engine and the bulk that comes with it. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, join my Patreon, and if you have any questions or you would want to know more about these tools and want any more help or can contribute anything, or if I did anything wrong, please let me know in the comments or send me a message. Thank you for watching.